Hey everyone, so in this video we'll see how to use the dangerously set inner HTML property in React to insert HTML in our web app. So what we have here is a very simple React app with some h2 heading and some div and some HTML data that we want to append into this particular div. So this data might be coming from an API or some store in Redux and you want to insert that data into this particular div. So if we were dealing with our normal regular vanilla JavaScript, what we could have done is just type document.query selector, pass it some test class or anything, and pass the data or HTML data that we want to insert. But we can't do so with React. Let me show you why. So if I type here inside this div inner HTML and pass the data, if we go to the browser, we'll see that we are getting an error message suggesting that we should use the dangerously set inner HTML property instead of using the normal inner HTML. So the syntax to use dangerously set inner HTML is pretty easy. So instead of using this inner HTML, we have to type dangerously set inner HTML, pass it an object with a double score HTML key and data or HTML data as a value, save it, and if we go to our browser we'll see that our HTML is now inserted in the DOM. Okay, but why is it called as dangerously set inner HTML? Why does the name include the word dangerous in it? So there is a reason behind that. So the name dangerously set inner HTML is intentionally chosen to remind us that its usage may be dangerous and cause excesses or cross-site scripting vulnerabilities in our website. You see, if you are allowing users to insert HTML in your web page, then they can technically embed scripts and malicious codes. And when you display that HTML in your React app, then those scripts might execute. Let me show you with an example. So let's say right after this p tag, I add an image tag here, and in that image tag, I give an src as and add an on error property to it. If I save it and if we go to the browser, you'll see we are getting a pop-up or a pop-up saying XSS. So that means that our site right now is vulnerable to XSS attacks. So you might be wondering, how can this vulnerability cause any harm to our website? How can just showing an alert box with some message cause any harm to our React app? So there are many scenarios where XSS or cross-site scripting vulnerability can cause many kinds of harm. So let me quickly show you some of them. So first one is called open redirection. So instead of that alert message, what we can do, we can write location.replace and pass the URL where we want our user to get redirected to. So for this example, just write www.google.com. If we save it and go to our browser, we'll see if we are going to localhost, we are being redirected to google.com again and again. So this is called open redirection attack. Another thing, another attack that can be caused using this XSS vulnerability is called website defacement. So an attacker can change the look of your website, the background color, the image or anything. So in this scenario, what we can do, we can just paste this line. What we are doing here, which we are changing the background of our app. So if I save it and go back to our local host, what you're seeing is we are getting this image on our React app instead of our normal content. It is present there, but the background image is also there. So this attack is called website defacement attack. There are many other scenarios as well, which proves that XSS attack can be very harmful. Some of them like cookie stealing and injecting keylogger or some payload, but you get the point. That's why it's very important that we make sure that our HTML is sanitized before we insert it into our React app. Now how we can do that? For that, we can use a library called DOM Purify. To install it, just run this command npm i DOM Purify to install it in your project. After it is done installing, what we can do is import it in our component, and right there when we are passing the data, what we can do, we can wrap it in the sanitize function provided by DOM purify. Now if I save it and run it, go to a browser, if I refresh it, you'll see that XSS attack, the pop-up is not showing now. And if I inspect it in the DevTools, you'll see that that on error event is removed from that image tag. That's because DOM Purify already know that on error event on an image tag is a very common XSS attack. So it automatically removes it for us. If you want to check again, what we can do is try that open redirection attack again. So what we can do is just type location dot replace, type the URL, save it. You see nothing is happening. That's because the same thing, that on error event is removed from the image tag, so our payload will never get executed. So that was it about dangerously set inner HTML. In conclusion, it is a replacement for inner HTML in React. We need to use it carefully, or else it can cause XSS vulnerabilities in our website. That's why it is very important that we make sure that our HTML content that we are displaying or inserting in our web page is sanitized before we do so. So thank you for watching.